How to minimise the risk of Legionella is what we're talking about today. The East Central Business Show. I'm Jon Naylor, and I'm joined by Andrew and Jon from Compliance Water Services. Gentlemen, you're specialists in Legionella, yeah? That's what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the niche business. That's just, you know what you're doing. That's fantastic. Now, we're talking about minimising the risk of Legionella. Where does that start and where does it end?
Well, Jon, I guess whether it be a cooling tower or a facility, whether it's an aged care or a building or a hospital, whatever facility you have, the first place to start is actually having a risk assessment.
Okay.
And because you can be doing all the Legionella sampling you want, but if you're not taking it from the right outlets and having that risk assessment done, which is something that we do, your money will be just going down the drain with the water because you'll be just wasting your money doing unnecessary sampling.
Yeah, okay. But there's a range of things, and I understand that within compliance and the sorts of work that you guys do around cooling tower audits and management plans and risk management plans, that sort of thing, you guys are kind of, there's at the top of the pyramid type thing, who else is involved in these systems that are in operation where the risk exists? Yeah, there's AC guys or air conditioning guys, is there not? Now, what do they do around Legionella?
They probably don't do that much at all, actually.
But there's a cooling tower, they're in there.
There'll be a cooling tower, and the HVAC or the air conditioning guys, they'll be managing the overall system. They will then have a water treatment provider who will come and do the water treatment for the actual cooling tower.
Oh, okay.
And most often than not, they will actually do the risk management plan or the risk assessment for the cooling tower as well.
Yeah.
But what we like to do, and which is best practice around the world, is actually having that risk management plan audited and then having a cooling tower audit. To have that cooling tower audit, you've got to be independent, you've got to be separate from the HVAC guys, the air conditioning guys, the water treatment people. You can't be part of the building, so you can't be the building owner or the occupier. You've got to be an actual separate entity to do a cooling tower audit. Yeah,
because you told me earlier or off camera about the case where you went into a mine site and the numbers were terrible. Yeah, what was without naming any names? What happened there, Jon?
Yeah, we found a count of about 400 colonies in the sample results.
Now, what does that mean? Put it in layman's terms for us.
It means the number of bacteria. Basically, it's the number of bacteria on site. And
when in a sample?
In a sample, yeah. And we gave them.
Well, you looked under a microscope, or?
It went to a lab, and they assessed it, and they told us how many bacteria were growing in there.
Now, they were sitting there looking at this report. And so, is that bad? They didn't even know.
Well, put it this way, we gave them a rad in a traffic light system. So
okay.
Yeah, they weren't best pleased.
Well, 400 is pretty bad.
Yeah. It really exceeds the limits.
Well, what's the limit?
It's
there
10.
Is 10.
10.
Less than 10.
Less than 10?
Less than 10.
And they had a count of 400 in some sort of water sample that they had?
Correct.
Okay. But then, was that within a cooling system or a cooling tower system, or what? Where was that water being used?
That was just in their domestic water. It was an industrial water that they were getting from another part of their plant or facility, and that they were using around their site. And they were doing the Legionella sampling, and they were getting these results. But because they never really engaged someone like us to have carried out a risk assessment and to be providing them, I guess, consultation and advice, they had this result of 400, but they didn't know what to do with it.
Okay, all right. And then so all the things we've talked about in the previous video around the way that water gets used, because even I think you were telling me that they use it in their truck washing system or something like that, where the water particles are coming out of the truck wash in a misting, and that's risk right there, yeah?
Yes.
So hang around the truck wash, drama, yeah? To a point.
To a point, exactly.
Sorry, I'm the journalist here, I'm the one that likes to amp it up.
But the problem that we first identified was that they didn't have a risk assessment. So the point where they were getting 400, they weren't actually taking any samples from where their biggest exposure was. So they weren't taking any samples from the truck wash or the car wash or their showers for their workers on site.
Oh, really?
So they didn't know what the Legionella count in those facilities were, and this is all...
They had no data around.
They had no data on them, and it was all one, water system. So it's all interconnected. And they didn't know, but they were just, taking Legionella samples because that's what they were told they had to do, and not doing nothing about it, and the money was going down the drain with the water.
Okay, that's really scary, because what I understand is, and you guys say there's within the health industry that there's a big deal and a growing body of legislation around compliance and caring, particularly in aged care, as you see as a place where you're doing some really great work. But there's obviously where Legionella is combined with someone's older, or with an aged person that might contract it. There's a really high risk factor, yeah. Now, and then there's on the base of that there's workplace health and safety and the implications of that to company directors and rank and file management, as well. That's part of the risk, yeah.
Yeah, so there's, especially for aged care and health, there's national guidelines that give guidance to what they should be doing to manage their Legionella. All over Australia, there's OH&S laws, that says that you've got to provide a safe workplace for your staff, your contractors, your public, and such. So Legionella, it is a risk that is out there, and it is in every facility. And some facilities are low risk, some are high risk, but it's a risk that needs to be addressed. And the best way to do that is through a Legionella risk assessment or water risk management plan. Yeah. No, I've come to learn that during this series. I'm a little bit daunted myself, but and then John, you've talked in a previous part of our interview process is that elsewhere in the world, and particularly in the UK, there's a lot more vigilance around that. What do you mean by that?
So they basically they apply it to like work health and safety. So any workplace has to have a Legionella risk assessment.
So it's part of the core workplace health and safety stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not the case here?
It would fall under the duty of care, but there's no specific legislation in the workplace.
Well, you don't open up the document and go down to Legionella risk assessment.
There's no section on Legionella.
But you're sort of saying that, particularly within healthcare and the burgeoning legislation around this sort of thing, that organisations, companies, operators of systems and water systems and cooling towers and AC systems, that they almost need to open up and start that section in their document and start to actually become aware of the potential risks and the compliance issues that are going to come about with that area.
Correct.
They need to follow the best practice to prevent Legionella.
Yeah, and that's sort of the knowledge you've brought to Australia with yourself, John?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fabulous. Now obviously what the guys here from Compliance Water Services want to start the conversation with companies that do see that Legionella is something you need to be aware of. Now, how do they take action?
If they want to take action, they can give us a call on 0429 431 709 or go to our website at compliancewaterservices.com.au and send us a message.
Okay, fabulous. And this is video number 3 of 4 that we're doing around this subject. So if you do just want to inform yourself around the subject, go find the other videos, be it LinkedIn, YouTube or other video or outlet, social media outlet that you're watching this through. And we'll see you next time on the East Central Business Show.